I've given chickens a warm breakfast ever since I've had them. Now you're supposed to be eating. What's wrong? Well, to start with, when I was even young, I always liked to peck with my fingers, peck, peck, peck. And I had a sort of a girlfriend that I rode on the bus with, and I'd save her a seat of a morning. She lived at Bergoo, and I lived at number 4. And so going down the road, I'd be pecking on the back of the seat or on my seat or something like that. And I just remember her always saying, peck, 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 peck. She didn't mind it, but she was just amazed that I kept on pecking. So we moved over here in '56, and the year that we moved over here, Daddy brought, we called him Uncle Oscar. He was Daddy's first wife's brother, and he wasn't really a uncle to us, but we called him Uncle because he was Daddy's brother-in-law at the time. And he was crippled. He had some kind of stuff wrong with his legs, and they were crippled up where he couldn't move them. And he was in a wheelchair, and so while he was over here, I would help him wash his feet and stuff like that, so he could survive. And so unbeknownst to me, he ordered Wayne Rainey was on the radio then, and he would listen to him. And so they advertised harmonicas, and for $1. And so he ordered me a harmonica that winter. And he said, when he left, he said, here is something for you to, I don't know why he ordered a harmonica for me, but it was a good thing that he did for me. And I was so happy to get that harmonica. And so up the stairs I went so no one could hear me. And I went upstairs and started blowing in and out on it just to get the feel of it and everything. And I kept practicing, and I practiced songs, a couple songs that I knew, and I just kept practicing those. And after a while, I started learning how to play them. And one of them was When the Saints Go Marching In, and another one was a old-time song that Wrong Way to Oregon is the name of it, but it was hard to play. Both of those are kind of hard to play, but that's what I chose to start playing with. And
did you have any like music or instructions, or you just
No,
did it on your own?
just done it on my own. And so I kept it playing till I could play different songs then. And you just learn the notes where they are, and there's only 20 notes, 10 notes in and 10 notes out, so you didn't have a lot to remember once you knew where they all were. Um, Actually, in the last 5 years, I've even got a little better as far as playing different songs. There were some songs I used to not be able to play because I couldn't hit the right note. I could hit most of them, but I'd miss some of the others. And I miss some now, but it's not because I don't know the song. It's I got a little nervous, but I'm amazed at how much I've improved in practice. There for a while, I got away from it, but then when I got back to it, I wanted to play in church, and I tried to play in church, but I get so nervous getting up in front of people that I you lose your breath when you get nervous, and you have to have a lot of breath to play these songs. So.
You're not just playing single notes. You're playing, I don't know what you call it, but it's like a background
Yeah,
kind of. What do you call that? Do you know what you call it?
I just call it keeping the rhythm, and I play both the rhythm and the main melody, and I don't know why, but that's the way I played.
Did you just taught yourself how to do
Yeah,
that?
it's that was one reason I was afraid to play in front of anyone, because I thought it was kind of crazy. But then, uh, like Mark and his brothers would say, "Well, that's the good part about it. I like to hear that," and so
Oh, it is.
it relieved me a lot, because I thought people thought I was silly playing that away. I don't know how I do it. I couldn't explain it. It's just the way I learned. And
Was music a big part of your life on the mountain, or did Grandpa played fiddle a little bit, right?
he played the fiddle a little bit. He could play even the pump organ a little bit. We didn't know that till we was over at the sunrise service one time. They had a pump organ there, and he was waiting, and he sat down at it and started playing, and we was like, "Oh, we didn't know you could play that." Up on the hill, we sang a lot. We would all get together, and Phyllis and Norma and me and Elma too would just sit there and sing songs, and I gave her girls the song. It was just like a little tablet that we had wrote. Phyllis had wrote down songs, old time songs, and we'd sing some of them. But even when Mom liked to sing. You know, she had a loud voice, and she could lead a lot of songs. And if she had had a chance, she would have been a good singer. But she just she wouldn't admit it, but she was a little bit nervous to sing in front of people too. But she would sing a lot of, or lead a lot of the songs down at the church. I like it when they're out in the sun of the morning. It's springtime, they're out of the way. I can go ahead and get the barn clean before they come in. It's hard to clean with 11 donkeys in the way. They're just out in the morning in the sun. They like the sun, like most people. And I holler at them to come in if they don't start coming in, but they usually know when to come in. I have to get all the hay out of the manger so they don't have to fool with it when they're eating grain. They know what I'm doing. I've done it ever since I've had them, and when I had the cows. So that's been 30 years. It's always an enjoyment.
What about when it's 15 degrees out here? You still like doing it?
Oh, yeah, because you feel like you're doing something for them. Jenny's laying down. She might not come in. She's got a sore leg. And
Tell me about when you said you'd gather around, like in the house and sing. And did you have music, like
no, we
words
did.
in front of you, or you just say?
We didn't. We
like,
just it was songs that we knew,
like
learned at church. Well, some of them weren't even church songs. Well, Gordon had a record player, but I don't think we were allowed to fool with it.
Oh, really?
No. it was upright, you know, a big one, and you raised up the lid. And one time, you know, back then, I should tell myself, when we were younger, we used to, Daddy chewed tobacco, and you didn't think that much of it then, and then he didn't smoke hardly any, but Gordon smoked, and we somehow, me and Eldon learned to smoke. We didn't inhale or anything. We just puffed on a cigarette, and so one time there wasn't anyone around, and I went in the boys' bedroom where Gordon's Victrola was, and I locked the door and climbed up. I was just young. I was only about 2 years old or 3, and I climbed up on a stool there and looked over in there for his cigarettes, and they were all gone, and the only thing left was the package. So I took the cellophane, and he had a lighter there. I took the cellophane and rolled it up like a cigarette just to play, and I put it in my mouth and lit it, and it just went, you know, just blazed up hard on my face, and I screamed, and Daddy happened to be around. I can still see him coming through the window. He had to come through the window because they had the door locked to get to me, to let me out of there, and my face was blistered, and in the process I bursted one of them, and that's the reason I have a scar right there. Is one of them. If I hadn't bursted it, it would have went down and wouldn't have had the scar, but I bursted that. But I thought it was pretty nice because they babied me more then, and they bought me a little push car. You sit down on it and push, you ride it with you pushing, and Eldon would have to push me then. So I thought that was fun. To be the popular one. But I never tried that anymore. Soon as supper was over, we would run into the bedroom where the radio was, and you had to adjust it just right to get it. But we would get the Lone Ranger and Sergeant Preston, and yeah, and there was another one or two.
Tom Mix.
Probably Tom Mix, and I don't think Roy Roger was on the radio. But those were always our favorite thing to do, and we'd just gather in there and listen real close to what was happening. But then we were one of the, you've heard people say, listen to a radio Saturday night to the Grand Ole Opry. That was enjoyment, and we'd have to go to bed like at 8 o'clock, but Daddy would turn the radio up so we could hear it when the Grand Ole Opry come on, and we'd lay in bed and listen to it. Then in later years when we got that 7-inch TV, we would all just gather in there and watch TV. One time, the picture went down only about half, and then it went all the way, and we didn't have a TV, so Gordon took it over there, and he didn't have the parts to fix it exactly with, so he put some wires on it where if a person would touch those wires just in a certain way, the picture would come on. And I guess I was good at it. I got appointed usually to hold those two wires, and you just had to hold it right and sit there and watch the TV. Once in a while your hand would slip, and just about the time of something important was coming on, the funny or something, and everybody'd say, "Get it back on, get it back on." Before we got TV over at our house, and Gordon's the only one to have it, Shelton would sneak out the window, like on a Saturday night or sometime, and sneak out the window and go over to Gordon's and watch TV, like the boxing or wrestling, and me and Eldon wasn't allowed to go. Daddy had Uncle Adam and his two boys to come, and yeah, you better get in here. Come and build this barn the year after we moved here 65 years ago, and when I took over, it hadn't been used. I had to do a lot of repairs, but it's still going. It's about to run down, but it's still going. And
What year did you build this?
we moved in '56. I think it was in the fall of '57 that they come over and built it.
So tell me about this was reclaimed lumber, right, from a house?
Yeah, the lumber come. We tore down the old house that Lloyd Stidham first they built for Lloyd Stidham and his family up at number 4 Mines. And me and Shelton and Eldon tore the house down, and Daddy hauled it over in the old Jeep truck, stacked it out here, and then he had Uncle Adam and his boys come and use that old lumber to build this barn. So I don't know how old the lumber is. I know it's getting close to 100 years. Hi, boy. You ready to eat? This is Toby, and he always ready to eat. Little hay. This pan was Uncle Sidney's while he lived up at Point Mountain. Dish pan. And I didn't have anything else to do with it except feed the animals out of it. Come on, girls! Boys, get in here! Except maybe Jennifer. I usually take hers to her if I used all my water. Yeah, we're coming. Well, That's good. Let me see if Jenny's coming or not. Nah, she's not coming, so I'll have to take hers out to her. I'm coming. Give her a little extra, she'll finish up fast and take it from the ones in the other room. Now I have to go out there. Yeah, the turkeys out there, there's a couple of them. See. Hi Barney, did you all find something? I'll be there in a minute. Well, I know. Maybe they ate it all up, or you did. Have the turkeys took off? Turkey, 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 turkey. I don't see them. Have to take the hose down on cold nights so it won't freeze up. Woo, you all through? Well, I don't know what to give you that you like. I'll put a round bell in today. They like it a little bit better. But right now I'll have to feed them another one of these. Let me see in here. I'm not going to climb up here. I'm coming. Now you eat what you got, it's all the same. Best I got right now. Well, you could have come up a little further and I wouldn't have had to carry it so far. Well, you ate pretty good. It just, I think it's rheumatism, just like I got. And the vet doesn't seem to do them any good when I call her. And so I just should have helped one of them that I called her for, but she never did do anything for any of them except go in their computer and see how much to charge. Last time she was here, she said, "Oh, I'll have to go back to the office and figure this up." She didn't even do anything. I used to feed them grain morning and evening too, but they started getting too fat, and should I talk any more about smoking or?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Whatever you want.
Mom kept wanting us to quit because we would aggravate her to, well, we'd go over to see Elsie and Ressie, you know, like on weekends. And me and Eldon would beg him for cigarettes, and or we would get into his without him knowing or something. And Mom didn't want us to do that, so I remember her. We went into the A&P and she bought us a pack of cigarettes when we went over there, so we wouldn't bother him. And she got tired of that, and she said, one time when she's going to town, she said, "If you all promise to quit smoking cigarettes, I'll buy you something pretty while I'm at town." So we promised to quit if she would. And so when she come home, she had, it was like a little gun in a holster, just a wee little gun and holster, and a little bit. It might even been a cap gun, but I don't know if it was even that. It was just about big enough to put around your wrist or something like that, the belt and the holster and everything. And that's what she got. I would like to still have it today, but I don't know what, we played with it and lost them. And
So was that enough to get you to quit smoking?
Yeah, we kept the promise. We quit, even though I would sneak down where the miners smoked and pick up a stub once in a while. I like to. We could run around up there on the hill, even though it was just small. Anywhere we did, but we knew enough to stay away from the miners, and as far as getting in the way of them working. I must tell Jesus.
Did you ever go inside the mines just to see what it was like or anything?
One time, Ronald Fuller was taking a man and his son, Sonny Fuller, Archie Fuller, in to see what the mines was like. He worked in the mines there, and it was #1 mine, the first one that you come to at that time, where we lived. And we went all the way back to the end of it, where the mines, and they had a emergency room back there even, and they had stretchers and stuff like that to carry people out if they got hurt. And I can just remember they had sheets on the stretchers, and there was blood on the sheets, and that scared me to death. So we went back there. We walked back there, and we walked out. But before we got to the end of the mine where you could see light, Ronald knew, the man knew how far it was and everything, where he was. He turned out his light, and it was pitch dark. You couldn't see your hand in front of you. And boy, that was scary. But then we got out, and I didn't want to go back anymore.
Did you guys ever see yourselves working in the mines, or how?
Well, possibly, because Clinton and Shelton both worked for the mines. Clinton had to quit because of his asthma, so he went to Ohio. and Shelton stuck it out until they started closing down. We probably would have, if they'd been able to keep it going, we'd have probably end up.
Did Grandpa try to encourage you to work in the mines, or stay out of the mines, or one way or the other?
No, he never did. He would just. He's the one got Clinton and Shelton both on there, so he encouraged them because it was a pretty good paying job back then. It was only like $3.69 an hour, which was pretty
An
good
hour?
pay back.
For an hour?
Yeah.
That's really good.
Pretty good back then. Yeah, long as the mines was, sometimes they'd go on strike and we wouldn't have a paycheck, Daddy wouldn't. But we was considered, pretty well off compared to other people. But still, Mom, she watched her money really close, and because it took money to raise that many kids. Daddy would, the men would have to come around the hill and go down to the office building at the bottom of the hill to get their paycheck. So Daddy worked at night, so he would go down and get their paycheck. They would let him take all their paychecks, and then he would go around the hill where they got off from work and give each one their paycheck. And for doing that, they would reach in their pocket and give him what change they had in their pocket. And Mom saved that change. And she had to spend some one time when they got out of work. The mines went out, but she saved what she could of it. It was all pure silver.